everyone. We are back tonight for Island Mom After Dark. We took a while, we took a break. We had some episodes of the Mom Show. Thanks again to Brunswick. And tonight we're going to be talking about unconventional motherhood and smashing some of these stereotypes that we hold ourselves and that we tend to hold other moms accountable for, or we hold a standard for other people, not only for ourselves but other moms, and then we judge them. So tonight I have a friend of mine. We go way back, like way back, and I'm about to bring her into the studio or virtual studio, but I have to introduce her a little bit first. Angel Beswick Reid. She is attorney. If you read her Instagram handle, she's an attorney. She's a lasagna lover. She's a Ally for the Marginalized. She's also a board director for Maxfield Park. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something else. I made a note. Possessor of a loud voice and not afraid to use it. So welcome, Angel.
Hi, Anika. It's so great to be here. I'm happy to be doing this with you. Yeah, we go way back.
Way back.
Way back.
Well, welcome to Island Mom After Dark.
Happy to be here.
So the topic tonight is unconventional motherhood, but
Yes.
I want you to introduce yourself a little bit to our audience. I gave your bio.
Yeah.
Tell us who's Angel. Who's Angel?
It's such a usual question you answer, but I find that when you answer it, don't we all tie ourselves to who we identify ourselves to be according to roles? So who's Angel? Well, daughter, sister, wife, friend, mother, cousin, writer, lawyer, teacher, board director. That's a cherished role now. A recent appointment that's very near and dear.
Congrats on that.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's who I am, or the roles I am.
Mm-hmm.
What do I love? Lasagna of all types. And I'm a real big advocate for a full night's sleep and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things I think go hand in hand. So yes, I think that's who I am. Pretty straightforward. Love of lasagna and sleep.
That's a good point though, because a lot of the time, and when I've been asked the same question, the typical response is that you go to these roles, you're a mom, wife, daughter, so forth.
Yep.
And I actually made an observation after my parents died that when somebody had asked me that question, I stopped saying daughter, which is it kind of blew my mind and messed me up at the same time. But
yes.
Those roles I've tried to put aside when describing myself now. And that's one thing that I really liked about, there was an element in this article that covered Angel, what was the headline? Something about has spread her wings.
Spreading her wings, yes.
And it spoke about your journey thus far, and you now stepping into yourself, we could say that, and going into now uncharted waters.
For sure.
And one of the things that had jumped out in the story was about you being Angel before you became Caleb's mom. Your whole, I think you had described it almost as a bubble of your own potential, something to that effect, which I thought was wonderful.
I am a whole, I'm getting up there in age, won't say how old, but as the young people these days say, I am a whole. They use the adjective, I'm a whole, and then they insert a description. I'm a whole.
Yeah.
I'm a whole other person besides being Caleb's mother.
Mm-hmm.
I remember me when I was 15. I remember me when I was 20. I remember me when I was 25. I remember me when I was 8. I am an entire human being.
Yeah.
Outside of being a very special boy's mother. And I really try to be cognizant of that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Well, tell me a little bit about your journey to motherhood or mothering? Like, how has that affected you?
I always wanted children, always wanted the family life, the white picket fences, as Americans would say, right? I
Mhm.
always wanted that. And so my husband and I, we were ecstatic. CJ, we were thrilled when found out I was pregnant, and boy, oh boy, pregnancy was really hard.
Mm.
Um, so hard, just so much vomiting. Oh my gosh, I didn't have morning sickness or first trimester. I was hurling my intestines out to the day of delivery. So
Wow.
it's really rough.
Mhm.
But it was also very special, really special, and unlike anything I've experienced. And
Mhm.
motherhood is unlike anything I've experienced. He's our only child, and so everything that I'm learning along the way is
Mhm.
live and in person. I have no templates to follow. I'm also from a family of predominantly all women. I went to an all girls prep school and all girls high school. I went back and taught at the prep school. So um, having a son too it's very new, being around a
Mhm.
boy. So motherhood for me has just been a lot of learning on the job, new experiences, figuring it out, trying not to be too hard on myself, creating boundaries for him, but also
Right.
not clipping his wings. It is just such a dynamic journey that is unlike any other. It
Mhm.
really is. It's unlike it can't be compared to anything else.
Mhm.
It is it is both unpaid labor up to the highest degree, while
Uh,
also the most beautiful role that you could have. And the
mhm.
two, was slamming to each other on any given day or any given minute to minute, and you will find
Mhm.
yourself tennis balling between the highs and the lows of motherhood. So
Yeah.
it's been quite a journey. It's quite a journey.
Let's talk about like what let's talk about those stereotypes. And I'm gonna ask you a question that I
Mhm.
know you hate. I hate it too. I think
I
many other
know.
moms don't like it. But
Mhm.
this is a nice segue into the stereotypes and things that grind our gears and why we've chosen the route of being an unconventional mother.
Yeah.
So, are you going to have any more kids, Angel?
Ugh.
Hate that question. Hate that question. So let's
Hate
smash
that
the stereotypes.
question.
Let us know in the comments, guys. Do you hate that question as well? Equally as much.
Ugh. I
Why do
mean,
you hate that question?
I hate that question for so many reasons, Anika.
Mhm.
I went in my, shall we say, early 20s, right? Uh, when I first got married, well, let's start before that. Before we
Mhm.
got married, the question is, when are you going to get married?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I guess a relationship isn't a relationship apparently unless you have paper for it. So I had to struggle with those annoying questions. When are you going to get married?
Yeah.
Then you get married. You're married for a whole, I don't know, 2.5 days. And then the question starts, when are we gonna have a baby?
2 days?
When are you gonna
You got 2 days. You got 2 days?
have when are you gonna have a child? And then the baby comes,
Yeah.
and whatever gender the baby is, you get maybe a year, and then it's, well, when are you gonna give that opposite gender?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My best friend from high school has 4 children, and the first three are girls. And you better believe, even after she got
Oh,
3 of the girls, and that's a high number of children, relatively
yeah.
speaking. People were still on her case, still
About
on
the boy.
when are you going to give them a boy? So the primary problem I have with it is that it's such a deeply invasive question to such a
Mm-hmm.
choice. When you strip away all of the reasons that make it personal, it
Yeah.
becomes more emotionally, I would say, painful to have somebody, whether it's a family member or just a random person,
Mm-hmm.
old colleague that you see asking about when are you going to have another child. I mean, women are struggling with so many issues.
Mhm.
Infertility, we don't know what anybody's going through.
Like none of your business. Like you don't know what people are going through.
No, we don't. And there's also women and families who are just fine with the one pickaninny. Listen,
Yep.
kids are expensive,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Like I get that question. I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not thinking about that. No, that's not my thing. And then that when you say that, then you also get a response like, you're
Yeah,
not
there is definitely judgment. There is judgment when you,
always a sense of judgment, eh?
for the mothers, I find who want to just keep it at one child, there's a lot of judgment because there's supposed to be an expectation that you want to at least have two children. Oh,
Mhm.
why? When you push back on it, because the older I get, the more cantankerous I get. So I push back now. I have time. When you push back and
Yeah,
say why, and they say, oh, they need company. I say, but they have friends. They have friends at school. What
good point. So
do
you
you
can
mean they
be
need company?
it too.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah.
asked me while you were in the hospital. Lord God,
When we were having the next one.
Jamaican, no. And then Donna, Donna, I hope I'm saying your name right. Dana or Donna, two girls, and you get asked about the boy. Same thing, see that?
Listen, Dana, I am the eldest of three girls,
Mm-hmm.
and no doubt my parents were asked that continuously, as
Mm-hmm.
if we are not enough. First of all, the one pickaninny is enough,
Yeah,
but when
exactly.
question, when are you having more? There's an insinuation that what you have isn't enough. And
That's so true.
I have a whole bundle of joy named Caleb, and he drives me insane every single day. And I love on him hard every single day. And if he's the only child that we end up having, he is enough. And I
Mm-hmm.
people this insinuation. And to that point, I've gotten really crass now. And I talk about the bedroom. I say, okay, so you want to talk about kids? You want to ask me when I'm having more kids? Are you going to come into the bedroom and start, whatting with my husband's, what? Because it needs to go, where? I will say that. And then they get real quiet.
They say that here too. Where are you from, Facebook user? Remember, if you're so we're streaming right now to Island Mom YouTube, the Facebook page, as well as a group. So if you're in the group, we won't know who you are unless you give permission or you say your name. But where are you from? Where are you from? I know that Patrick sometimes joins. He's one of our silent dads in the Island Mom group.
Oh, I
Yes,
like
one
that.
of our
I like
observers.
that. No, but listen, Facebook user, your child is
You still
enough.
get asked because you look young, my girl. Fran, if you ever see Fran, you don't know what your health struggles are and how hard it was. Exactly what
Exactly.
you went through in the pregnancy alone. Like pregnancy alone will turn you off, you know. Like
I listen, I have a friend who said that experience was enough for her. It just was, the pregnancy journey was just so hard on her body that
mhm.
that's it, chop lock.
Yeah.
And why should you have to explain all of that? Because somebody in conversation says, "Oh, when are you
Mhm.
having the next one?" Or
And then you have women who want to be moms but don't want to be pregnant as well. So I mean, it's really
yes,
just none of your business. Like it's just none
it
of the
is.
business.
It's
But
no.
apart from this question, like what else grinds your gears about these stereotypes around motherhood?
Um, you know, I found that my journey with motherhood with my child Caleb, he's 6. He just turned 6. I am able to navigate the ins and outs and the highs and lows relatively well because I keep going back to me and my
Mhm.
center and recognizing that I am angel first before I can pour into others, jogs into the other roles I have,
Yeah.
parenting and otherwise, comes from me being angel. What
Mm-hmm.
grinds my gears more so is actually the expectations that others have of me because I am a mother. And I think that it becomes hyper magnified in the social media climate. It always goes back to social media, you know. And so you end up on social media because all of us are normal human beings. I don't know who these 1 in 12 people who are not on Facebook or Instagram or whatever are, but I tip my hat to them because I need to look at my screen less. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm just a normal human being on our phone at times that she
Yeah.
doesn't need to be. And I think that um, just the excessiveness of social media plays into the societal expectation and narrative of mothering. Women
Mhm.
already labor under a lot of unnecessary and weighty expectations that are exclusively tied to our gender.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with our individualism, our personality, our strengths, or weakness. No, we have a vagina, therefore, following things
Mhm.
must flow.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, following things must flow, multiply it times the Instagramming and the Facebook, and you get just a powder keg for me of capital G grind my gears, where I'm supposed to just be a martyr to the cause of motherhood.
That word.
A martyr. It feels that way. It feels that
Yeah.
way. And
Yeah.
a martyr to the cause of motherhood. And that with
Mhm.
itself comes with a lot of expectations.
Mhm.
Nutrition, all of a sudden I need to like, I don't know, I need to be a nutritionist and be giving Caleb all the healthy things, but making them super creative and attractive and yummy and
Interest
making
mom.
time for that. I can't
Look at your face.
I literally
That was a proper stink eye. Like,
yes. But while you're mothering, you're also ironically expected to embody the attributes of what society thinks a woman should behave like.
mhm.
And it's this weird dichotomy of being beautiful, sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because in the very first episode of Island Mom After Dark with Karen Carpenter, we spoke about this, as in the Madonna or whore. That
Yes.
that dichotomy, like,
Hmm.
which one?
There's no
Does
which
it have
one.
to be both?
It,
Like,
it, it's exhausting. It's
mhm,
exhausting how
mhm.
many things are expected of us. And it gets magnified when you become a mother. It
Yeah.
does. Because you're tied to the identity of mothering.
Mhm,
It's easy to lose yourself, especially because everybody around you is telling you that your identity is
mhm.
mothering, and that's what matters. So it's very easy to lose
And then
yourself.
if you decide to do something outside of that box that you
Yes,
have been placed in as a mom, you're labeled like a bad mom, or and some of us will embrace that label. Like I will say, yeah, I'm a bad mom because I
mhm,
don't necessarily follow the protocol that has been established for me by society. Um,
yes,
and I've said this before in different conversations, and sometimes I'll get these weird reactions when I will say that last year I made a very conscious decision to sacrifice time away from family because
yes.
I needed to grow my business.
Yeah.
And that's not something that's received very well quite often. Like I knew what I
No.
was doing. It wasn't I had to do it for me so I could let go of the associated guilt if I
Yes,
did.
yes, yes,
And
certainly.
that guilt is something else. Like what has been, I guess you could say, an observation that you have made from deciding your own path as an unconventional mom.
I feel really uh, good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that flows over into me as a mother because it reduces the resentment, the potential for resentment and the actual resentment, because
Mm-hmm.
I am just not that mother. And it's great to know that,
Yeah.
because now I can continue being Angel, who is a mother, and
Mm-hmm.
Caleb benefits from that because I'm not miserable about the expectation of what I should do and
Yeah.
should be being foisted on me. I am now able to operate as I want to operate
Yeah.
as a mother. Oh, here, excuse me, sir.
Mommy does it.
Daddy go to
You just walking. Yeah.
All right, that's very good, Bud. You know.
Let's talk about that resentment a little bit, because I think that's something that we don't touch on as moms, like the resentment that we can hold towards our kids or our partners or ourselves for not embracing ourselves throughout this process of motherhood and forgetting ourselves. Like I will say, and I will own up to this, that I totally lost myself in the role of mom when I became pregnant, and it was a double whammy, because I was also grieving for my mom.
Yes.
So, and here's where my mind got totally fucked, and I'm a curse right now. And my therapist was Karen Carpenter. And in one of our very first sessions, she said to me, Anika, you cannot mother yourself. And I was like, that felt like a proper slap in the face, because it was only at that point in time that I realized I was trying to be my mother to myself, to my family, to the Island Mom community, and realizing I cannot do this anymore because that's not who I am.
Yes.
And that resentment and that pressure and that need to give, and you just said Marta, like give, and that giving, like there's no room for you. Let's go. But you touched on it, like that aspect of the martyrdom is real. Like
it
is this too. Totally relate to losing myself. Yeah.
Yes.
I've only started stepping back into that role like maybe 3 years ago.
I think, I saw Kamika said it took her 6 years to find herself back. And I think that's because, in addition to the expectations being foisted on us, I think we mothers, once the you learn you're pregnant, or if you're adopting, or guardianship, however means that your child comes into your life, and you have this awesome role, because it is awesome. It's a beautiful, awesome responsibility. I think that we also fall into the pit of self expectation. There's a lot of other pressure we put on ourselves, and we think, okay, time for us now to be everything to this new person in our life, because this person is relying on me, so I need to be everything to this person. And if you're being everything to someone else, then it must come at a sacrifice to you, because how can you remember who you are, or what you like, or what you need, if you just keep pouring, giving. And I think that the resentment starts to boil up when you get to a place where you recognize that there is no end to this. You're just going to stay, and it will never be enough. Not in a negative way, but simply because human beings and relationships are dynamic, and you're going to be a super mother one day and a really shitty one the next day. And
it's okay. Like the question here that came from Fran was like, where does that come from? Society DNA. Kamika is saying societal. I agree, because, and I mean, you can go back to nature versus nurture, but we are socialized as women, separately, as women, to be martyrs. We're socialized to give and give and give and sacrifice at our own cost. I mean, even the stereotype that we will have for Caribbean moms, island moms, that we can carry anything on our back. Like we can go through it. You rarely see them cry. Like they're powerhouses of women, and we take on so much.
Yes.
But it's like a recipe for disaster.
Yes, for sure. It is.
But let's go into some of these questions I have around being an unconventional mom. And one of the things that we've kind of put together is that you you don't expect perfection. And I have a little story to share. So I remember the other day, Seth was very upset. So for those of you who don't know, I have a 15-year-old bonus daughter, my daughter. No business with the bonus anymore, like that gone out the window. And I have a 6, almost 7-year-old.
I can't believe she's 15 already.
I know, isn't that nuts? It's crazy.
You're a teenager. God be with you.
Oh yeah. So I remember he was very upset. I think he was doing some kind of schoolwork or something, and he was very upset by not getting it perfect. And he was very sad and angry with himself. And I was like, whoa, where is this coming from? That's not good. And something made me realize that in all of these conversations that we've been having through Island Mom and so forth, that we model behaviors for our kids. And it was a hard truth for me a hard pill to swallow, that he's probably seeing how much I beat myself up with my things around perfectionism. I've only kind of come to terms with recently. And I feel bad because now he's I don't expect him to be perfect. I don't. And I have these conversations with him, but yet he sees me cycle in this mind space of having to get things done. And I'm going and I'm always, and I guess that's what he sees, you know? So that's a double whammy. Like how it's a double-edged sword. Like how can we show them that we don't expect perfection, but then not demand it from ourselves?
It's increasingly more difficult, I think, because again, tied back to social media and what you see displayed on all platforms is perfection. God.
Yeah.
We don't post pictures anymore without putting in a filter, myself included. I'm not taken away from that. I mean, nothing I love more than a good old Clarendon filter. It's my favorite.
I like the Clarendon filter too, you know. I like Hefe too.
I need to look at it. I'm stuck on Clarendon. I mean, not full Clarendon, then it becomes totally inauthentic, but just enough Clarendon that you're just like, oh, geez, I'm nice now. Everything, down to pictures of your food have filters on it. So I think that's going to be the real struggle for millennial parents. And what's the generation that comes after millennial? Is it Gen Z?
Yeah, Gen Z.
So I think that's going to be the real challenge for us. The millennial parents and the Gen Z parents will be raising children and trying to impart to them in a meaningful way that perfection is not expected or required. Authenticity matters more, effort matters more, intention matters more. But that's going to be a really hard lesson for us as parents to really drill down on, because once they leave our side every day to go to school, if school ever keeping again, I don't know, but I mean, once they leave our side, they're going out into society that says perfection is expected, know, and that's a real, I think that's where all of us as parents are going to have to do a lot of soul searching and growing, because as you said, you have that personality trait where you want perfection, you demand it of yourself, but then you say no. It's going to be a difficult journey.
I guess it's just constantly kind of being introspective and soul searching on an ongoing basis. But Fran, you know, those boys are probably modeling various aspects of you. So here's another question. In terms of testing boundaries, like I mean, the unconventional mom will look at, embracing experimentation or just encouraging their kids to try new things. And then that kind of boils down into the fact that, depending on how you're raised, you will test certain boundaries or you won't. What has your childhood and you testing your own boundaries taught you about maybe embracing that element for your son?
I just expect that, especially as he gets older, he's his own whole person, just as I am my own whole person. Caleb is his own whole person. There is a book, gosh, so it's these are after hours and my brain becomes mushy. But tell me if you know it, Anika. Rumi. Is it by Rumi? Khalil Gibran.
Oh, yes. Oh, the
There is
prophet.
the prophet. Yes,
Yeah. Your
prophet.
children are not your children.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that resonates with me. That resonates with me. My children are not my children. They are of
Mm-hmm.
you. They pass through you like I think he said, like an arrow, and
Yeah.
you
We're
up.
basically the bow and they
Yes,
are the arrow. Mm-hmm.
they are. And so I remember the things that I was honest with my parents about, and the things that I wasn't honest with my parents about, for fear of breaking boundaries or disappointing them, that I didn't want to stay within certain boundaries. And what I really hope to achieve with Caleb is that open space where, um, if he wishes to be unconventional or pursue an unconventional path or dress unconventionally, what does that even mean? I saw a meme
Mm-hmm.
that said normal is a setting on a dryer. That's the kind of that's
I
the
like
kind of
that.
life I want Caleb to have, where there is just no expectation of
Mm-hmm.
anything except being kind and respectful. That I expect. You
Love it.
need to be kind to other humans. You need to be respectful to them. But the
Mm-hmm.
choices that you make after that, in addition to paying your taxes, is they're up to you. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's important to me with the boundaries, that to dismantle the notion that he has to be afraid of these boundaries that we have put on ourselves and that society
Yeah.
has put on ourselves. I want him to know that you can come to me and talk about that, because
Mm-hmm.
in retrospect, I wish that there were things that I could have spoken to my parents about.
Mm-hmm.
Not fair, because if you don't have guidance in certain things, you end up getting information from questionable sources or yourself, and you don't know.
Please. Well, let's bring that up right now. Like talking taboo topics with your kids.
Yeah,
The way that I think about this is that it's not taboo unless you make it taboo. And I mean, a
absolutely.
child will come and ask you questions, but they won't based on your previous responses or maybe, your facial reaction or, like, what you talking about? Like them, those kind of knee-jerk reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you shroud a question or a concept
Mhm.
that your child comes to you with, if you shroud it in a reaction, then it's going to become a capital T thing,
Yeah.
capital T taboo, and you hit the nail on the head. It's taboo if you make it.
Yeah.
I think I was about 10. I remember the road we were on. We were driving on Roehampton because it's just stuck in my head. And I was just looking as we're driving and we were in traffic, and I looked out and I realized, hey, it really came to me that people exist. I just saw people walking, and I said to my mother, where do people come from? And she said, a man puts his penis in a woman's vagina. And I was
Just
like,
so. Just dry, like just like that.
I remember right after she said that, I looked outside and I saw the people, and I was like, oh my God,
They have
you know that
penises
someone put his
and
penis
vaginas.
in her and that person came out because the penis and and that was that. But that was
Can
that.
I tell you how I discovered it? I had been wanting to ask for the longest while. I remember I was probably like 6 or 7. I can't remember. And I've been wanting to ask because I keep on hearing this thing, sex. And I'm like, what is this thing? And we were watching Golden Girls.
Oh,
And the whole
classic.
family was watching Golden Girls. I was like, now is the time. Blanche is about to say it. We know say Blanche going to miss. She going to say it. It's going to come
Yes,
up. It has to come
yes,
up. So now is my
yes.
opportunity to empower
Blanche.
myself and ask about this thing.
Yes.
Finally, the moment came. And I was like, so I even rehearsed this in my head, I was like, Mommy, sex? And you could hear the crickets. And I remember like TV stop. And my mom said, okay, we're going to talk about this.
Yes.
And I tell you, she drew me the diagram. She drew
Wow.
a tube. She went because she was a science teacher at one point. I got a full biology lesson that night. Let me tell you,
Wow.
full breakdown. XY chromosome, like them levels there.
That's why you have to love Mrs. R. I love that.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like taboo topics are only taboo if you make them out to be. I'll share that I spoke about porn with my 15-year-old because I know. Imagine the stuff that we get sent through WhatsApp. Just WhatsApp.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up.
The most terrible, like, and the things that teenagers will share or people share are not like the nice soft porn, normal
This
kind
is not
of
like
no.
when we were kids and we call Cinemax Skintimax or no, this is not that.
Cinemax. No, it's not that.
No. No. You can Google anything.
Fran, you're going to be one of my next guests. We have to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not sharing the soft stuff. They're sharing some violent shit. Like, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to have a conversation with her to let her know that, listen, that's not normal.
Yes.
And my fear as well was, I mean, she can just do a Google search and go to Pornhub.
Exactly.
So it's like when she's searching or if she does search or somebody shares something with her, I want her to know what is healthy sexual behavior, what's safe sexual behavior, and that, you know, that stuff that you're seeing even in porn, like mainstream porn, is very, very violent against women in many cases and very submissive, and it's not like that. It doesn't have to be, you know. So it's oh my God.
It for sure. And on that porn note, this generation this generation of children, they will be the first generation that will have unfettered access to porn, in the sense that when we saw porn or wanted to see porn, because face it, sex is intriguing at any stage, right? And
if you see the scramble, remember scramble, and you kind of watch and you turn sideways and you can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah. And I remember going to Florida and staying in a hotel, and that's when, you know, they would have the advertisement for if you want to buy the porn station there. And I remember thinking, wow, what's porn? Like the adult channel, because of the taboo of it. Again, that taboo, like, what's this adult channel that you have to buy? Why can't I watch it? I think that what you're doing with your daughter is so critical, especially because she's in the stage where hormones are now alive and well. And it juxtaposed against the questions that she will have.
And so she asked questions now, and I like that. You know, we will have a very frank and open discussion, and that's the thing. I open the door to that, and she'll ask questions of her dad. I'm like, listen, I'll preempt it and talk to him. I'm like, dude, it's okay. We already went here.
Yes.
So his reactions will be kind of blasé, and then we have very frank discussions around the house. But okay, so I break the taboo topic with my boys. I was blunt, straightforward about everything. My parents never discussed it. Catholic schools in Jamaica. Angel, you can speak to that.
Oh, a lot. Oh, lots and lots and lots. Lots of Catholic education here.
Yeah.
A lot.
But I guess we just have to break those boundaries and those stereotypes and open the door to discussions, because I think you had mentioned it, like where they're going to get the information from otherwise. It's probably not the best source. Yeah.
Google, because all of our children have access to phones, even if you haven't bought them one. We be living in a box right now if we say that when they go to their grandmother's house or their auntie's house or your best friend's house or their cousins, at some point they're going to have access to a phone. And believe me, they will use the 5 minutes to find what they want.
Yep.
So let's give them a healthy, authentic source of information, so that when they go and find the information anyway, it's juxtaposed against what we have.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I like the thing I really like about what you said, Anika, is that it's not taboo unless you make it taboo. So topics change generation to generation. what was taboo for our parents is no longer taboo for us. What was
Yeah.
taboo for us is no longer taboo for Seth and Caleb. It changes, and I
Yeah.
think it's incumbent on parents to be receptive to
Mm-hmm.
making taboo topics, as uncomfortable as we might feel. I suspect for my part, the conversations that we're having now globally about race, about gender,
Mm-hmm.
those are gonna filter into what would have been taboo for us, because growing
Yeah.
up, we're not seeing families represented in our books, Catholic education,
Oh.
that speak to, I mean, forget even single parents. They didn't even touch
Mhm.
single parents.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
See now.
I actually left, and I'm not going to name the school. I left a tertiary educational program on principle because I found out that if you got pregnant while enrolled at the school and you
Mm-hmm.
weren't married, you'd have to leave. I was not intending on getting pregnant, but on principle, I couldn't see myself going any further in
With that
that.
kind of institution.
And I'll say what I was studying at the time was guidance counseling.
Wow, isn't that
And I
ironic?
was like, exactly. I'm so in my head, I'm like, hold on, you're telling me that I'm
Yes.
supposed to be a guidance counselor to possibly high school girls or boys,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I can't be accepted here as an adult if I happen to get pregnant. So for me, that broke my head, that broke my brain. I was like,
Yeah.
so clearly, it won't make sense for me going with this mindset into a high school. I'm going to probably burn down people building. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, let me just go back to the psychology degree and see where that takes me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it broke. Like the society that we're
Mm-hmm.
confined within is messed up.
It
But
is.
back to like smashing some of these stereotypes. So an unconventional mom will encourage you to pursue your passions. And that was one other thing that came out in your story that was featured in the Observer is your desire to ask for your dad's blessing to walk away from
Mm-hmm.
your role as an attorney
Right.
and go into the unknown, like the big unknown. So,
Mm-hmm.
how do we empower our kids to do the same?
By example, I think that's the only way. And my parents both,
Mm-hmm.
both of them have always been open to my sisters and me stepping off professionally to do whatever we thought was best at the moment. We have never had any sort of implied or overt judgment or expectation from them, and I really thank them for that. So I've never felt um, afraid of the next step.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I want their blessing, and especially because I was working with my father, that mattered too to get that. And I think that's really the only way that I will be able to show Caleb that you don't have to do what is expected,
Yeah.
lawyer, doctor, Indian chief kind of profession. Your
Mm-hmm.
passions can take you anywhere, anywhere. And we don't always have to tie passions into profession. I think that's something that we can give thought to too as well. It doesn't have to be about tying in a passion to a profession. We can just have passions that we enjoy and
Uh-huh.
try to um, make them an active part of our life as much as possible.
Give me an example.
Exercise for me. I have no
Mhm.
intention of being a trainer or a nutritionist, but I really, really enjoy exercise. I'm passionate
Oh,
about it.
you see that handle right there? Go and check out Amy on Instagram because she have some split and some things that go on for her page.
you
And
know,
exercise.
listen, flexibility is part of fitness.
Let me tell you, I'm fluffy, but I'm quite flexible.
Exactly. So, I mean, well, that's my a go-to example. I have no intention of parlaying my passion for health into money. It's just something that I do for me because I get a lot of joy from it. I love I love exercising. I love seeing my body change and feeling better inside and
Mhm.
out. But I have no intention of doing anything with that professionally. It's
Yeah.
entirely for me.
Tell me about maybe an experience that you've gone through where you have realized in terms of pursuing that passion, like that embracing the possibility of failure and it being okay, like it's okay to fail. What have you learned from an experience?
Um, I think this period right now,
Mm,
stepping away from law because I had wanted to be a lawyer since I was 8. I remember the moment I decided I wanted to be just like that and be a lawyer, go in a courtroom. I'm like, and it took a lot of twists and turns to get to the point where I was in law school and actively pursuing the
mm-hmm.
educational path to becoming a lawyer because I was still teaching full time, and that's when I was actually pregnant, so and
Yeah.
vomiting every day, as I mentioned. So it was quite rough. And so to get to the other side where finally I'm robed, my father robed me. It was the
Oh
proudest
wow,
proudest moment of my life.
that had to be amazing.
It was. And so to be robed and to have swum through the fires to get there and to have landed at the shores of lawyering and to not love it, it took a toll on me mentally and
Mhm.
emotionally because I said, I feel like I've failed because I have
Mhm.
worked so hard to do this. I had this plan in my life since I was 8. Now I'm here and I don't want to do it. What am I doing wrong? What have I
Yeah.
done wrong? Where do I go from here? If I walk away from it now, what do I do? I'm not
Mhm.
16 anymore. This isn't going back to college when you're 18 and the biggest decision you have is what detergent to use because you've never washed your clothes properly by yourself. Like, it's not that. It's
Yeah.
not. And I'm still working through it now. I am still working through the sense of, have I failed? And then I talk to myself like, no, you haven't. Then the other side is like, because you did all of that work and now who are you? What are you doing? You know? So part of the journey of the it's okay to fail, I think, is to
Mhm.
realize that it's okay to feel like you're failing, but not a
Mhm.
failure.
But not
There,
a failure. Mhm.
to feel like I'm failing at some point, but things will get better. I'm not a failure. I'm failing at some points. I
Your
need to.
audio is getting funny. Your audio got a little funny, but I think it straightened itself out. But
Okay.
Tina here says stepped away from 23 years of nursing to pursue a career as a health coach. That's amazing.
That is
Congrats to
awesome.
you.
That is that's inspiring to me because I'm
Mm-hmm.
questioning, and that's inspiring to me. Tina, you're my role model.
Superhero. I have another question. Like, can let me find it. Let me find it. Let me put it up on the screen. And I'd love feedback in the comments from those of you watching. Like, can we have it all, or do we have to choose?
Mm, mm,
Yeah, do we have to choose? Like this whole have it all, and that's another societal pressure, social media pressure, like the
absolutely.
perceived, the
Have it all.
perceived have it
Mm,
all mentality. Like, yeah, man, I have the sexy partner, I have the amazing job, I'm
yeah.
working out every day, I'm eating all of the fattening food and not getting fat. Like, I have 2.5 kids.
You know,
Everything's perfect.
when
Can we have
I Beyonce is a go-to example that I
that?
think of right now when I see this. Can we have it all, or do we have to choose? Right? Because you look at Beyonce and you think this woman has it all,
Mm-hmm.
anything and
Mm-hmm.
everything. That balance that you're speaking of, the what was it? Was it the Madonna whore
Yeah, the
complex,
Madonna
right?
Verdes
So I
thing.
remember when shortly after she and Jay-Z got married, that the tone of her songs was changing, in that the content would be that she's super sexual towards her husband, right? I remember her
Mhm.
singing something about Monica Lewinsky,
Mhm.
and she used Monica Lewinsky's name as a verb. So Jay-Z would Monica Lewinsky all over her jeans or something
Yeah.
like that
Mhm.
on the way to the
Mhm.
club. So there was this new sort of hypersexualized, I am in love with my husband, but I can get down and dirty. I'm sexy and sassy, and yeah, can Monica Lewinsky this and that. But no, I'm also like good old home cooking Beyonce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started to not enjoy that phase of her music as much, because it struck me as
Mhm.
and seeing that she and Jay-Z had their struggles with infidelity was a reminder that nobody has it all.
Yeah.
Nobody. I don't even think we know what it all is.
Yeah.
Can you have it all? What is all? What is
Yeah.
our
What is this all? Fran says, I don't think you can. Kamika, it's not bad to want it all, but we shouldn't have to choose. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, and this all is really a social construct, isn't it?
But
And
Kamika, that question, that point Kamika raised, I would question. She said, it's exhausting to attain it. Can you ever attain it? when will when when will you pause and say, yes, I have it, I have all the money I want, I have the body I want, I have the relationship I want, I have the children that I want, and all of my children are behaving the way I want.
this point here, it depends on what your all is. That's
Mhm.
actually really really profound. Like maybe it's about just constructing your own all, like
Your own
whatever that
all.
all is.
Yeah.
Vanita, single mom, full time, pursuing. I'm assuming that's accounting qualification. It's not easy balancing. It's all with COVID. Listen, like, girl,
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel it for you. That's a lot. That is a
It is a lot.
lot. But yeah,
A
in terms
lot.
of this whole having it all, I like what this Facebook user said. Like it depends on what your all is.
Yes, it really does. I
Mhm.
mean, my all and your all, Anika, are going to be different.
Mhm.
They're going to be
Mhm.
different. And the reason I question about this all is because my all today, at what time is it now? 9:54. My all today, 9:54 on
It's
September 5th, is it?
9:54 or 8:54.
It is, or is it 8?
It's 8. You have to fix your
Right.
time, Bill.
I need to change my computer time. But my all on this time is different from what it was 1 year ago.
Yep.
I
Maybe
don't
even
know.
last week.
It is.
Yeah.
Right now, part of what my all is that after this, I really, really, really wish that I had rock bond with jamming in, and I'm not gonna get it because I didn't make it. But I really wish that was part of my all, and it's not happening.
Mhm.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
a good point too. Like there comes a point when you feel as if time has run out and you're left wanting. It's so true because I mean, and that's one thing I had decided last year, and I guess in my own sense, I decided what my all was going to be, and it's messed up, but I had to sacrifice something because
Hmm.
I needed to be able to build what I needed to build in a very short amount of time. So, I mean, it's
Which is
rough.
a great point because Anika, can you get to the stage where you get your all if you don't sacrifice? Because if you don't sacrifice, we're just hoping that the all just lands in our lap. But how do
That's
you
a
get
good
to
point.
the all?
Yeah,
You'd have to put some
especially
kind of effort.
especially as women, because we
Yes.
are also socialized to be very sacrificial.
Yep.
You know, we're,
Martha.
yeah, we're
Yep.
martyrs, we're
Hmm.
giving, and then it's harder for us to get to certain achievements or goals or milestones because of how society has constructed its way. You know, it's
Absolutely.
the whole societal construct is not necessarily friendly to
Yes.
a woman succeeding. So we have, oh God, oh, I have major penis envy sometimes, like major. Men have it so easy. Men have it so
Yeah.
freaking easy.
From
Oh,
getting dressed to everything.
everything. Like, yeah, they don't even have to wear brassiere. Like it's
I know. I know. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
gosh. But
Yeah.
that brings me to our wrap up question. But guys, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to shoot them into the comment section right now. But how can we retain self during motherhood based on your experience and based on really channeling that? And I have, as as long as I've known you and we've lost touch in between or different stages, and having known you as a mom, you have never, in my opinion, from the outside, who knows, like some crazy shit could have happened, but you've never ever really lost touch with yourself. And that was one thing I've always admired as you, as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can we retain that self during motherhood?
Thank you for saying that, because you know what? It sounds, this is the kind of thing I think you're speaking of about being a bad mom. It
Mm,
sounds so selfish, or it may sound selfish, but I'm actually really proud of myself that you have observed that, because I I have kept myself and I really enjoy myself, and it sounds really selfish, but I really love it.
yeah.
And I think I'm a better mother for it. I do. And the way that I was able to do it, I
Mm-hmm.
think because as I said, Caleb is our only child. A bit of luck and a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of active decision making. And the luck came in that when I had Caleb, I was still in law school. So what am I going to do? I have to
Yeah.
continue pouring into my law studies. So it came at a sacrifice, really sadly, of his first year, because I was finishing my second year of law school when he was born. And so I lost, as we spoke about the all and the
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice that happened for me as a mother is that I don't have as many memories of Caleb's first year as I wish I did. And it's something I mourn actively. I barely remember his first steps, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I was busy in law school in the evening and teaching. Then I was a teacher in the day
Yeah.
and giving to those roles, and it came at a sacrifice. But I also so the luck thing is that I had no choice in the beginning of my motherhood journey other than being a mother while also being me, and being
Mm-hmm.
me meant law and this and that. But after that, I actively choose myself. Actively. It's not, I don't think one has to come at a cost to the other. I
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned exercise being a passion.
Yeah.
Costs money to go to the gym, but it is money that I think is well worth it because it adds to my mental health. I
Mm-hmm.
do things for me because I love me, and I
Mm-hmm.
love doing um, hobbies that fulfill me. I love quiet time. I
Mm-hmm.
love solo time. And my husband and I, even before Caleb came, we are a couple that we're fine with. All right, we both need a moment away from each other, because not because we don't
Yeah.
love each other, but because I would like to go into the guest room and read quietly and not have another human being around me. And it's not an indictment on you. And
Yeah.
that forth into raising Caleb. So
Mm-hmm.
there are times that, Caleb, I want you to go to your room, please, and I'm going to go into the living room or whatever, and I'm going to watch my show for an hour, and then we can come downstairs and we watch your show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To watch cartoons with the kids. Don't you want to watch Netflix? Yes.
Of course. Yes.
So why are we sacrificing that? Come on, like, we want to watch the shows. We don't always want to watch the cartoons. We don't always want to eat cereal. We don't always want to share our candy with the kids. I want
Mm-hmm.
a chocolate bar sometimes, and so it
I love the memes that have like the mom outside the car, like not wanting to go inside the house, like or
chocolate bar.
eating. Yeah, man. Yeah,
And yeah,
that's a thing.
there's guilt associated with that. So we hide that chocolate and think that we're a bad mom because we want to eat the whole bar. And that's a
No,
problem.
damn bar.
Yeah.
I think I forgot to do that. Now I feel as if I don't know who I am or what I'm supposed to be anymore. I'm so lost and confused. Like I feel it for you. I
Yeah.
was there. I was there, and I'm still rediscovering aspects of myself as well.
Mhm.
And what had happened was it wasn't just motherhood, but it was a lot of other things happening too. Where for me, I had to be able to truly step into my own truth of who I was, not just as a mom, but as Anika, and what that meant, even in my other roles.
Yes.
And it was not pretty. Like those other memes I really like are what people think enlightening looks like is like rainbows and unique. No, it's nasty and it is
Hard
grimy
work.
and it is hard and it's a lot of work.
And
And
to that
then
Facebook user who said that she feels lost, I would say the first step is reclaiming even a small activity for yourself.
mhm,
It means
mhm,
literally buying a chocolate bar for yourself when you go to the grocery store instead of just buying the snacks for your children. Put in
yeah.
something that you like and eat it by yourself. Start with
Mhm,
that, or give yourself that hour of TV, or in the evening, instead of coming home straight from work and just going jumping into dinner, bath, whatever, take 20 minutes and stare at the wall. Just do something alone or for yourself, because
mhm,
that really, 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 really helps me to give myself a little time every day. I mean,
yeah.
mothering is 24/7. If you don't make the time, if you don't create a space for yourself, it will be so easy to drown, not only get lost, but drown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes retaining self is hard, especially if you're a single mom. But if you have help, take a drive, breathe, relax. Don't
Mm-hmm.
compare. Oh my God, comparison game is disgusting.
It
And
is.
don't be too hard on yourself. We all fall victim to that.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I'm dropping in all of the comments right now. As a mom, we tend to lack self care, and that's something we need to incorporate on a daily basis. Self care is not being selfish. A simple 15-minute mindless walk or meditation. I am such a better mother when I meditate. Otherwise, I'm not very nice. No, I'm not a nice person, full stop. Um, yeah,
Chevrolet sounds like my kind of mom.
I
Exercise,
think
reading, and long
so.
walks. Yeah.
I think so. Never had a problem saying no to my kids. That's amazing, Fred. I don't have a problem with it either. I think as much as I didn't have my mom around while being a mom, I still remember very important elements of who she was. And she would make sure that she eat our food on the road and wouldn't bring home nothing for me either. And it would burn me. But I do it now.
Now you know. Now you know why.
I totally get it. I totally get it. Could it also be that we feel lost because we're holding on to an old self? Who are you, person? Like, I want us to be really good friends because you have your levels, you're there, and not
Yeah.
realizing that we would have to change. That says it. Yeah. Yeah. For me personally, I had an idea of the mom I was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that never lined up with what was my reality.
Yes.
And that
I
was
think for
hard
me,
to swallow.
a lot of what I thought mothering would be was compared against my own mother. She
Mm.
is she is selfless.
Mhm. Mhm.
She is a true martyr, and I have benefited because of it. My sisters and I.
Yeah.
She's just poured herself and given so much to us, and I'll never be able um to thank her, or mommy, if you're watching, I told her, mom, mommy, if you're watching, like, I love you. There's just nothing that my mother hasn't done in order to facilitate me being the best person I can be. And
Mhm.
so I think that for me, I thought my mothering journey would be the same. I'd be like my mom, but I'm not. Oh, am I not?
Yeah, yeah. That was
I'm
something
not.
I had to work through too. But
Yeah.
that own self, that aspect of thinking that and that was also something that I had to acknowledge with how I took a step away from Island Mom for a while too, because when it was crafted and the vision for it and the concept for Island Mom was very much crafted off of my mother. It was an ode to her, and it has always been an ode to her and how I can have her memory live on. And I realized that I wasn't mashing up or meshing with that vision anymore, because I'm not the typical cookie cutter mom, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to be. And I accepted that I did not want to be.
Yeah.
And that was hard. That was really hard to deal with. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you're feeling, there's a quote by Jim Carrey that says something like, depression is a result of your avatar realizing that it doesn't like the role that you've been trying to play. So
Wow.
if you're in a headspace of not feeling happy, then it's about acceptance. See here, watch out. Fran, get out of my head. Have to accept the new
Yeah.
normal after divorce, realizing I was not going to. Had to accept. You have to accept. Acceptance. Wow, Angel, this has been an amazing conversation.
It does. It does. I love the comments especially. It's always
Lovely.
great to know that you have a circle of persons who are going through similar experiences. And that's one of the things I love about Island Mom, that it allows us to connect and say, oh, I'm not the only one who wants to eat the chocolate off. You too. Yeah. It makes you realize that maybe you're not so selfish.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that you just need to be. It's okay.
Mhm.
Like, you just need to be.
You do.
I want to thank you. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me anytime. I'm looking forward to hearing about Fran and I mean blow jobs.
What happened?
And Fran, you can come and have a talk with Caleb and explain, since you got the talk already. I haven't figured out the talk yet. So
Thank you, everyone who tuned in and watched. And of course, the video will be up for replay if you are joining in late. But thank you again, everyone. And thank you, Angel.
bye
Bye.
guys. Bye.